Hi, Ignacio here with North Star Senior Advisors. And today I wanted to talk about care levels and care costs when it comes to assisted living. A lot of folks don't realize that as they're considering senior living options, specifically assisted living, and sometimes memory care communities, there's an additional cost, okay? And that is the care that is needed that will be provided for your loved one. So what does that mean? So room and board is going to be one cost, okay? Meaning the room itself, depending on the type of model room you go with, studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, right? That's going to include things like amenities, utilities, Wi-Fi, housekeeping, meals, things like that are going to be included in that rate. I would say about 95% of the communities, in fact 98% of the communities, have an additional cost around care. So let's talk about that potential structure. The most common structure around care is what's called care levels. Every community is going to have care levels for the most part. Now, this could be anywhere from 3, 5, 6 levels. Every level is going to have a specific cost tied to that level. Think of a level as a bucket. Every bucket can provide a specific level of care or line items that will be provided for your loved one. Okay, so that's very common. How is that determined? That's determined by a couple of things. Number one, when you select your community, they will perform an assessment along with an 1823, which is a Florida form that has to be filled out by a Florida doctor. Those two things will determine initially the care costs going in. Most communities will reevaluate care needs the initial 30 days and then usually every 2 or 3 months as things may change. So what are the average costs around care levels? I would say in today's world, 2024, we see it range anywhere from starting at about $400 a month for about level 1, and it can go as high as about $2,200 a month for the highest level of care. But the average high is about $1,800, $2,000, okay? The range, level 1, that 400, it's going to be very basic things, okay? The highest level is going to be pretty much everything is done for that individual, pretty much, okay? So that's one structure and average cost. There's 2 other types of structure around care. There's what's called a la carte. This is where a community will charge you not based on levels, but literally every line item that your loved one needs has a specific cost. So it's not buckets per se, it's line items that may be needed. That's not as common. There's a couple communities nationwide that do that. There's benefits to that in that if you don't have a lot of care needs and it's very basic minimum, you can benefit from that. But it can get pricey, as you can imagine, as things pile up in terms of care needs. They usually have a maximum, which is good. But, a common thing we hear feedback from families is they don't like how sometimes their monthly bill can fluctuate significantly because those line items are a little bit all over the place. The last and third type of structure around care is all-inclusive. Now, this is specifically for assisted living, pretty rare. Here in Central Florida, we have perhaps 2 to 3 communities out of almost 300 that have assisted living with care all-inclusive within the rate. So pros to that, of course, are going to be that you're going to pay that flat rate, and that's it. Regardless of how much care your loved one needs going in or as they age in place, it's going to be the same one payment. Now, of course, that payment will fluctuate on an annual basis based on increases, but it's not reflective of care, if that makes sense. Okay. So I hope that helps as we explain care levels. And if you have any other questions, we would love to help.